Israelis were unloading captured Syrian artillery shells, consolidating their positions on the northern sector, and they claimed they now had all of it except for one observation post. They also revealed how far the Syrians had penetrated until the counterattack stopped them, at one point across the main supply route, which would have cut off some Israeli units. And in the early stages of the battle, the Israelis admitted to having been outnumbered 11-1. Now, however, they have for the first time crossed over the former ceasefire line. Knocked out Syrian tanks mark the line of their advance, and the question here is whether the Israelis, even with their air power dominant on this front, will take it any further. They're settling down to a longer war against stiffer opposition than they had at first expected, and this was the warning message from their Deputy Chief of Staff.
Generally speaking, I would say that we have now reached a certain phase in the war in which it is permitted to us to say that we have been able to redress the situation. But there is still a way ahead of us, which will not be easy, in which we'll have to do a lot of fighting, in which our nerves will be probed and tested, in which there might be difficult situations, but during which I think we are permitted not to fail in our confidence as far as the Israeli people and its defense forces are concerned.
Today we've seen some of the most intensive Syrian shelling of the war here on the Golden Heights since the war began 5 days ago. Since first light this morning, Syrian artillery has been bombarding the town of Quneitra and the surrounding countryside where Israeli tanks and troops have dug in. The tanks have had to move position time and time again, hour after hour, changing their positions, vulnerable as they were to Syrian spotters watching them on Mount Hermon on the Syrian-Lebanese border 8 miles away. Israeli 130mm guns above Quneitra fired back, trying to knock out Syrian emplacements. We passed a charged Syrian armored car, one of the many hundreds the Israelis claim to have destroyed over the past 5 days. As the Syrians continued their barrage intermittently, we sat with Israeli soldiers deep in trenches. Their commander told me they'd been cut off from their units stationed inside Quneitra. We took cover as the shelling started again, but the plains below the Golden Heights offer no cover. At the northern end was already on fire as we left. Fires were also spreading along the main street towards the center. But the damage seemed limited after all the shell bursts we'd seen. Quneitra town now is entirely empty. The troops, the armored cars, the tracked vehicles and the tanks have now left. They've now left other positions further back across the Golden Heights. And as part of Quneitra burns, it can now be established on Wednesday the 10th that the Israelis have vacated the town of Quneitra, leaving it open to the Syrians if they can get their tanks across these plains. As we left on the road back across the Golden Heights, the biggest armored column we've yet seen passed us moving north. More tanks, personnel carriers, and 130mm guns, and the giant 175mm guns the Israelis captured from the Syrians in the Six-Day War, and are now using back on them. Michael Nicholson, News at 10 on the Daily.